right. Welcome, everyone, to Build 2027. We're going to use a little time machine. This has been a very exciting build. I've been to many. This is one of the most exciting builds. The stuff that Microsoft is doing is incredible across the entire stack, from these new amazing laptops, the fact that we're going to have everything working on the edge and on the cloud. And today I want to talk to you about what's going to happen next year when you come here. Next year, you're going to come and you're going to see agents that are no longer just chatbots. You're going to see agents that are like people, exactly like people, like the video that I'm about to show you.
No, but that's the thing. She'd never written a song before. Not once. And then she just...
And it was good?
Was it good? It was epic.
You have more volume?
Oh, hey. Welcome to Napster. Yes, that Napster. We give everyone access to a crew of AI agents that can help them get their job done, whatever their job is.
I helped a store sell 40 jackets last night while the owner was asleep.
I onboarded 200 new hires this month in 6 languages.
And I helped a developer add video AI agents to their app in 5 minutes.
And I just helped someone write their first song.
So, what are you working on?
So this crew of agents is available to you today. Of course, these people don't exist. They're all AI agents. And today with Foundry, you can actually go from setting up an agent to bringing it to life as a multimodal agent with a matter of a few clicks. Yeah, please. As Napster, we've been building a complete stack, which includes a hardware set of solutions that lets you explore this in different ways. Whether you're an end user that wants to have an actual set of crew members that are supporting you at every time with a holographic display that sits on top of your screen called the view, or a full kiosk that can show up in a store that can survive even a very noisy environment like this, where you can walk up and make an order for a fast food joint. You can see all of that in our booth down the hall. It's really amazing. And what I want to share with you today is the magic of how easy it is to create this. In the age of vibe coding, please raise your hand if you've lost a few hours to Claude Code. Who here has walked around with a laptop open while the agent is doing stuff? All right. So let's move to the next slide. To the book. So I wrote a book about it. You're welcome to explore it if you scan the QR code. It talks about this moment that we're all experiencing about us on AI and what it means for all of us, what it means for the future of our kids and our companies, where AI can do everything we do. So we're basically all creating these human emulators. What does that mean? How do we ascend? How do we do more? And how do we help our companies, our kids be able to leverage this? Next. So let's talk about how you can start. So you can get your API key right here. So if you want to start with a multimodal agent right now, scan that key, you get a free offer, you can get tokens, and you can start playing. When you finish scanning that, you get the prompt. And that's all you need, because all you need is a vibe coding harness, the API key, and that prompt, and you can create what we're about to see together. It's that easy. It's remarkable to me, after years of managing very complex teams and very complex projects, spending literally months or years with a big company on rolling out an agent, and now all of that can happen in one day for each one of you. You don't need to even have a team involved. So we call this the Omni Agent API. It's basically a single API that allows you to create an agent that is omni in that it is multimodal. It could be video, it could be audio, it could be text, it could be over WhatsApp, it could be over a phone call. So you can call the same agent over a call, like they're in a call center, or meet them in a kiosk when you walk up to them, and they know who you are, they have persistent memory, they remember you just like a person that you have a relationship with. And that's the next dimension of our innovation as an industry. If you think about things like, the iPhone added multi-touch, the next surface is relationship. It's all about creating relationships for our users with the agents. And how do we create that emulator layer? So I want to mention that we're now offered as an Azure native offering. And I would like to involve my colleague here from Microsoft, Sergio, a great partner, and explain what that means.
Yep. Thanks, Edo. So everyone, I'm really happy to announce the public preview of Napster on Azure, powered through Azure native integrations. Yep. can hear me, right? Yeah. So what that means is that you get unified billing through Marketplace. And in addition to that, you have value-added benefits. The fact that your developers, you'd be using the Azure portal, and you'd be using other native Azure tooling to provision your resource. So think of it from an AI scenario, since Edo spoke about it. A developer would come to the Azure portal, would provision an Azure resource, would click on that single sign-on link, get navigated to the Napster portal, where they'd use the Omni Agent, which will talk to your Foundry agent, which is the underlying intelligence layer. So you have Napster, which is the experience layer on top, talking to the intelligence layer, which is Foundry below. And it's all natively integrated within Azure. Right, so we'll walk you through a few demos, and I'll hand it over to Edo.
Thank you so much. What an amazing partnership with Microsoft, enabling developers like yourselves to go on this journey with minimal friction, and also down the road, with terms of procurement for an enterprise, it's something that's already solved because it's in the marketplace. I'm going to show you a quick time lapse of what it looks like to develop an Omni Agent. So I am a developer, and I've created Watson, which is the website for this e-commerce provider. I go into my environment, I put in the prompt and my API key, and basically, after a few minutes, when I come back, there is an agent that actually knows the content because it sits in the Git on your laptop, and it studies the code of your website and creates that agent that can use your website. So unlike your traditional agent setups, which is you have an agent, you go there and you set up the knowledge, and you set up the tool calling and the MCPs, which suddenly involves a lot of people in your org, now an individual developer that is controlling the front-end business logic can just have the Git on their computer, run this prompt, and it will automatically augment it with an Omni Agent like this. So literally cutting through all of the red tape associated with herding all the cats, getting all the knowledge, and then the knowledge changes, you have to go back and update it. Suddenly you have two parallel universes in your code base. Now it's just one Omni universe that can support this. So in this case, you can actually talk to the agent, you can ask her things, and she controls the website in the same way that a vision model would have controlled it. And the way we achieve this, and this is done through this prompt, is through an incredible, I think, breakthrough that we've had, which is this idea of creating an MCP server that's actually built into the JavaScript of the site at the source level. So part of our prompt is it analyzes your website, your code, and creates a virtual instance of we call it an edge MCP, that's in the JavaScript. So when the agent is in the page and you ask it a question, instead of needing to call tool callings from an endpoint, it's actually all happening locally through the DOM by connecting to that MCP locally. And that MCP is basically a harness to your website. It does the pre-processing when you compile the code, and it knows everything about your website. What is the intent of the user? What are the steps they need to take? And all of that is covered. So as you can see here in this diagram, this is effectively what happens when you use the Omni Agent API and you apply these two skills. The Agentify skill will take the source code of your web app and effectively create this MCP server that controls it. It's like wiring up everything on your website. And then the agent skill will effectively create the agent in Foundry, so you can continue to maintain it. All happening in your code environment or soon on the Foundry playground. I'll let Igor explain a bit about this. And do you want to show your, you can show what you're doing on the computer there.
Can you hear me? Yep. So the
closer to the mouth.
So the idea is what we are doing. Okay, what we are doing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how to share.
You can see he's a good engineer.
Let me just get out from the presentation mode in a second.
So this is going to work in Visual Studio, any code harness you use. Effectively, it's about the foundation model. We could not have done this 3 months ago. This is only possible because of the frontier models we have now with the new OpenAI and Opus 4.8. Because the ability of looking at your entire code base and predicting what a user might do and wiring it up as an MCP interface was not something we could have done before. But now we can. It's one of those moments where it changes the whole paradigm of how we agentify our experiences.
Yeah, and what we also introducing is the new skills, which will allow you easily create with just a prompting, with just a request to your Copilot, like create for me an Azure AI. one. Okay. It will deploy an agent to the Azure AI Foundry, and afterwards it will create inside the Napster platform and a visual layer for you, so you will have afterwards the URL to which you will go, like this. You will see here the Microsoft Foundry key, and with just one click, you will be able to talk with your agent. And the beauty of this solution is all is controlled inside the Azure AI Foundry. You can use all the tools built in, and you do not need to expose access to any of your services. All what you need to do is to allow to the Enter ID just two simple roles, is Cognitive Services user and Azure AI Foundry user. Nothing else. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So one of the challenges in having video agents, and you've seen them from companies like HeyGen, Synthesia, they're amazing video agents, but their cost is inhibitive. It's great for a demo, but you can't really roll it out. One of the things this engineering team at Napster has been doing for the last few years is engineering the heck out of that to the point where we can offer it for 1 cent a minute as opposed to 20 cents a minute. So it's a 20x factor of pricing, which really means you can put it on your website. You can put it in your app. You can now have video avatars fully fledged, talking to your users and solving their problems with 1 day of development. So the cost element is not exciting from engineers, but it means that you're not just wasting your time building a prototype. You can spend a few hours tomorrow or today and come back with your existing web app working with this robot inside of it that just looks like a person. Now, I should mention that when you use the Omni Agent API and you use it with the vibe coding, it actually creates the persona, like what the person looks like. Like if you're working on an electronics website, it would actually understand and create a persona that looks like that. It's all in this latent space of an endless universe of agents. So, you know, we think that the web is built for humans, and the interface is the human interface, like what I'm doing right now. Everything else we're doing is just translating into using text, using terminal. But now we're going to be in a position where you're literally interacting with people across every application. And those people can leverage and use the applications that you're building. So let's see, what else do we have here? Do you want to mention, Marius, maybe explain this?
Okay, so what you see here is the way we think about solving the problem that Edo just mentioned earlier. So there are 3 layers. At the bottom, it's your app. It's the one source of truth. At the top is the agent. And in between is the middle layer, which actually helps the agent communicate with the app. We call it the agent bridge, which is the edge, which is an edge MCP server, which lives in the browser. And the idea is the following. With this edge MCP, it exposes a few things. First, it's the capabilities. This is what the agent can do inside your application, and think of it as the hands, right, of the agent. And the other thing, it's the eyes. The state providers is what the agent can actually see on the screen. It's exactly like a human.
Without a VLM, right? So
yes.
You've seen these agentic examples where an agent is using something in the browser. And that typically works through a VLM that needs to analyze, take the picture, upload it, incredibly slow, incredibly costly. This is lightning fast because we put the cognitive load of teaching the agent how to use the site at authoring time once on your computer as a developer.
Okay, so yeah, we can speak about this as well. So the idea is that you can, if you already have an agent on Foundry, that's great. It has already configured everything, the memory, the knowledge, the tools. You don't have to change anything. That's actually the brain, right? On top of that, you add the Napster Omni Agent API, which is the face, which is an avatar. It provides the presence. People will be able to hear it, to see it, to talk about it, to talk with it. And in the end, what you're going to get, it's actually a coworker. that will help you to get real work done using the principle we explained earlier in such a way that you will be able to have this coworker inside your own application.
Yeah, so imagine a situation where you walk into a Best Buy and you walk up to the associate, if you can find one, and you ask, I'm looking for a GPU that has 32 gig of VRAM. What do? They walk over to the monitor and they're using the website of Best Buy to help you filter and find the product. That is literally what this is. And think of the same situation where you're trying to book your seat on a flight in an airport, or when you're talking to the nurse at the counter on triage. All of these examples where you have people using systems can now be done by an Omni agent that can use the systems that you're building. And implementing that takes 1 day. It doesn't take months. Just like this talk was scheduled for 25 minutes, and I don't need 25 minutes. I was done 10 minutes ago. If you go to the QR codes at the beginning, no, what do you got? Oh, he has something else.
So show this demo, which actually is the real implementation
Go ahead.
of. I will let the video speak for itself. Is there audio? You can't hear?
Top-notch OLED TVs under $2,000. There's the LG OLED Edo Segal.
What was the question you asked?
55 and 60.
Show me OLED TVs for under $2,000.
Well, Napster is
On the left side, you see the capabilities from the Edge MCP server being called real time. You can also see the stat updates that are being sent from the web page to the agent.
That's a cool setup. So on the left side. Hey, I see your message. Sure thing. If you're all right. Just let me know what you'd like to do next on Napster. Search music, play an album, create a playlist, or anything else.
Yeah, in this case, the action to add to cart is reversible. All right, so that's it. So this is a demo where the agent having that Edge MCP server in the browser is able to control the website, and more than that, it can also see what the user is doing in the website, so it has the full context all the time.
So that's your debug window, basically, for the MCP. You've seen demos like this from OpenAI, from Google, and they typically involve building a whole new system. But this happens with one prompt. And the agent knows there's examples where you can ask it, compare this screen to this screen. It creates the comparison. It does amazing stuff that you didn't even plan for it to do, because it's got all this really strong intelligence at author time on your laptop, which is really an incredible moment to be doing this kind of work. Anything else you got there?
That's it.
Let's go back to the QR codes.
Yeah, 1 second.
All right. So again, if you didn't scan this, get your tokens here. Get your prompt there. If you want to speak with us, we're down the hall. Come see our fancy toys. And we have a hackathon with over $2,000 in prizes that is open right now. Let's go to that QR code. Oh, it's the prompt? Okay. You get the View, the hardware device. You get a book, if you need a physical one. You get a lot of tokens. And Tennille, who runs the hackathon, is here. She can answer any questions you have. Thank you, Marius, the product manager, for this amazing product. Thank you, Igor, the lead engineer. And thank you for all your support with Microsoft.